All right, let's dive into AI, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not science fiction anymore. It's like everywhere you look, right? It's in our phones and it's even diagnosing diseases and stuff. Today we're going to look at three stories that really show how AI is just like changing everything, like how we keep cities safe or even how we learn.
Yeah, it really is incredible to see how fast it's all evolving. Like
Mhm.
AI is moving past just like automating stuff. It's actually like boosting what humans can do.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the whole city safety thing. We've got all these new AI surveillance systems popping up in cities everywhere. Facial recognition, crime prediction. I mean, it kind of sounds like something straight out of Minority Report, right?
Yeah, it does feel pretty futuristic.
Hmm.
But while some people are worried about privacy, the good stuff that could come from it is pretty huge. Imagine like a city where it takes half the time for emergency people to get where they need to go because
Uh-huh.
AI can figure out traffic and tell them the best way to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not just about catching someone after something bad's already happened. It's about stopping it before it even starts.
Right. I read somewhere that some cities are using AI to like pinpoint areas where crime is probably going to happen. They look at past data and stuff like even how well lit an area is or how many people are walking around.
Exactly. And that kind of like looking ahead approach, that could really change things and make communities safer. And, with AI crunching all that data, human police officers can spend their time on things that actually get at the root of why crime happens instead of just reacting to it after the fact.
Right. So it's almost like AI is giving law enforcement a boost, helping them be more efficient and do their jobs better. But we obviously need to be careful about how it's all used. We don't want to end up in some kind of surveillance state where it feels like every move is being watched.
Oh, for sure. Transparency and making sure people are held accountable are super important.
Mm.
Cities need to be upfront about how these systems actually work, like what data they're collecting, how they're using it, all that stuff. Makes sense.
Hmm.
All right, so let's switch gears a bit and go from city streets to the world of medicine.
Oh man, AI is totally changing healthcare. One area that's super exciting is how it can help discover new drugs. I mean, usually it can take forever to develop a new drug, like decades and billions of dollars, but AI is changing that.
Yeah, there was that crazy story about a company that used AI to make a drug for some rare disease that was basically untreatable before, and they did it way faster than usual.
It's pretty mind-blowing. Think about it. AI is like a super researcher, right? Analyzing mountains of data on how molecules interact genetic info, results from past trials. It can spot patterns and make connections that would take human scientists years to find.
Wow. So we're talking about potentially like curing diseases that we thought were incurable.
Totally. And not just curing them, but also making drug development faster and cheaper, which could mean that life-saving treatments would be available to way more people all over the world.
This is where I start to think like, okay, this is how AI can really make the world a better place. Like imagine if we could get rid of diseases like Alzheimer's or cancer.
It's a huge goal, but it might actually be possible. AI is giving us the tools to make those kinds of breakthroughs happen.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But like with any really powerful tool, there are things we need to think about. Like with these AI-powered treatments, will everyone be able to get them or only the people who can afford them?
That's a huge question, and it's one we need to face head on. We got to make sure that all these advances help everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got AI making our cities safer and revolutionizing healthcare. But wait, there's more. It's also becoming part of how we learn.
The potential for AI in education is massive. Imagine every student getting a learning experience that's personalized to their needs and how they learn best.
So we're talking about AI tutors that adjust to your pace, give you instant feedback, and even change how hard the lessons are in real time.
Exactly. It's like having a personal tutor for every student, which could be so helpful, especially for those who don't do well in a typical classroom.
Yeah, I remember struggling with math back in school.
Hmm.
I wish I had an AI tutor then. It made a huge difference.
I know what you mean. And think about students in remote areas or communities that don't have good teachers. AI could help close that gap and bring good education to anywhere in the world.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it. How AI could create a more level playing field and give every student the chance to really reach their potential.
Hmm.
But obviously, we have to ask about what happens to human teachers in this AI-powered classroom, right?
That's a good point. But instead of thinking of AI as replacing teachers, I think it's more like a powerful tool that makes them even better. Teachers could become more like guides, helping students and encouraging them to love learning while AI handles the technical stuff.
So it's not about AI versus teachers. It's more like AI and teachers teaming up to create a better and more engaging learning experience for everyone.
Exactly. It's all about using tech to empower both students and educators.
All right, so we've got AI keeping our cities safe, changing healthcare, and transforming education. That's a pretty impressive list. And the thing is, those are just a few examples of how AI is already affecting us.
And this is just the beginning. As AI keeps getting better and better, we're going to see even more ways it'll transform our lives in every way imaginable.
It's exciting and a little scary all at the same time, right?
Right.
Like we're on the edge of something brand new, and we don't really know what's on the other side.
Yeah, it is kind of like stepping into the unknown, but that's also what makes it so exciting, you know?
Huh?
We're not just watching it happen, we can actually help shape how this technology changes and how it becomes part of our lives.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we make sure AI is used for good? I mean, we've all seen those sci-fi movies where the robots take over.
Yeah, Hollywood loves a good robot apocalypse story. But the truth is, AI is just a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good things or bad. It all depends on the humans who are creating it and using it.
So it's not about AI taking over the world. It's about us making smart choices about how we develop and use it.
Exactly. And that starts with talking openly and honestly about the good and the bad that could come from AI. We need all kinds of people involved in these conversations, not just the tech experts, but also people who study ethics, social scientists, people who make policies, and regular everyday people.
So it's like a responsibility we all share, right? We all have a part to play in figuring out the future of AI.
Totally. And that includes thinking about how AI is going to affect jobs. I know a lot of people are worried that AI will take away jobs.
Yeah, that's a real concern. I mean, automation has already changed things in some industries, and AI will probably speed that up. But I also think AI could create new jobs and opportunities that we can't even imagine yet.
I think so too. It's not just about replacing people, but also about making them better at what they do. Imagine doctors using AI to help them diagnose diseases more accurately, or architects using AI to design buildings that are better for the environment. AI can free us up from doing boring, repetitive tasks so we can focus on more creative and fulfilling work.
Right. So instead of being afraid of AI, we should think of it as a partner, something that can help us achieve more than we could on our own.
Exactly. It's about finding ways for humans and AI to work together to create a world that's better for everyone and where everyone has a chance to succeed.
Speaking of everyone having a chance, one thing that worries me is that AI could actually make existing inequalities worse. We've already seen examples of AI systems that are biased, like facial recognition tech that's not as good at identifying people of color.
That's a huge problem, and it's something we need to fix. Fast AI systems are only as good as the data they learn from. So if that data is biased, then the AI will be biased too.
So it's not just about making AI better, it's about making sure the data it learns from is better and represents all kinds of people.
Absolutely. And it's also about having diverse teams of people developing AI, people who can spot and fix those biases before they become part of the technology.
It all comes back to that idea of developing AI responsibly.
Okay.
We need to be careful and thoughtful about building AI systems that are fair, treat everyone equally, and benefit all of humanity.
I agree completely. We have a responsibility to make sure AI is used to make things better for humans, not to divide us or create new kinds of inequality.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the challenges,
Yeah.
but let's switch gears again and talk about some of the more exciting possibilities. What are you most optimistic about when it comes to the future of AI?
One area that I find really inspiring is how AI could speed up scientific discoveries. We're already seeing AI being used to develop new materials, design energy systems that are more efficient, and even explore the mysteries of the universe.
It's like AI is giving us superpowers,
Yeah.
right? Helping us push the limits of what we know and understand.
Exactly. And that's what makes me so optimistic. With AI as our partner, we can potentially solve some of the world's biggest problems and create a future that's more sustainable, more prosperous, and more fulfilling for everyone.
I love that idea. AI as a partner in human progress. That's really powerful. But I gotta admit, I still have some worries. What if we create an AI that's so smart that it becomes smarter than humans? What if it decides humans are a threat and tries to get rid of us?
Yeah, those are valid concerns, and they've been explored in tons of sci-fi stories. But right now, we're nowhere near creating AI that has that kind of general intelligence or ability to act on its own. Current AI systems are good at specific tasks, but they don't have the broad understanding of the world or the ability to think for themselves that would be needed to be a threat to humanity.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. But it still feels like we're walking a tightrope. We need to embrace the potential of AI, but also be aware of the risks. So how do we find that balance?
It's all about being proactive and thoughtful about how we develop AI. We need to invest in research that prioritizes safety and ethics, and we need to set clear rules and regulations for how AI is used.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values and principles that guide how it's developed and used.
Exactly. We need to make sure that AI aligns with human values and that it's used to make our lives better, not worse.
This has given me a lot to think about. Feels like we're having a conversation about the future of humanity itself.
We are. And that's why it's so important for everyone to be part of this conversation. The choices we make now about AI will have a huge impact on future generations.
So to all our listeners out there, stay informed, stay involved, and share your thoughts and concerns about AI. This is a conversation we need to have together.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're creating together through our actions and decisions. Let's work together to make sure AI is a force for good in the world.
Okay. I'm feeling a bit more empowered now, but I also have a million more questions. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about AI helping us understand ourselves better. It's a fascinating idea, and I'm curious to learn more.
Me too. It's one of the most intriguing things about AI, and it could totally change everything from personal growth to education to healthcare.
Imagine having an AI that could analyze your personality, your skills, your interests, and then suggest career paths or learning opportunities that you might never have thought of on your own.
It's like having a personal guidance counselor, but one that's powered by data and algorithms. And it could be incredibly helpful for young people who are trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives.
And it's not just about careers. Either AI could also help us understand our own emotional patterns, our communication styles, even our biases.
That's a really interesting point. Imagine an AI that could help you figure out your own unconscious biases, those subtle ways of thinking that we're often not even aware of. It could be an amazing tool for personal growth and self-awareness.
It could even help us build stronger relationships. Imagine an AI that could analyze how you communicate with your partner and give you tips on how to communicate better.
Now, that's a relationship app I'd actually use. But seriously, the potential for AI to help us navigate the complexities of human relationships is pretty mind-blowing.
It is, and it makes me wonder, what if AI could even help us bridge the divides that separate us? Could it help us overcome cultural differences, political polarization, even religious conflicts?
That's a big question, but it's definitely worth thinking about. If AI can help us understand ourselves better, maybe it can also help us understand each other better.
It's like using AI to build empathy and connection, which seems like something we could all use a little more of these days.
I couldn't agree more. So while we've talked about a lot of the potential risks of AI, let's not forget about its potential to bring us closer together, to create a world where people are more understanding and compassionate.
Okay, I'm officially feeling optimistic again. It's inspiring to think about how AI could be used to make us more human, not just more intelligent.
Exactly. And that's really what this whole conversation is about. Using the power of AI to create a future that's not just technologically advanced, but also deeply human. It's been pretty amazing diving into all this AI stuff with you. Feel like we've just scratched the surface.
I know, right? Every time we look at a new way AI is being used, like a million more questions pop up. It's crazy how fast it's all changing.
That's what makes it so interesting. It's not like some old technology. It's constantly learning, changing, pushing the limits of what's possible.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's go over the main things we talked about today.
Sounds good. We started with how AI is being used to make cities safer, like predicting where crime might happen and making sure emergency responders get where they need to be faster.
And then we talked about how AI is like revolutionizing healthcare, speeding up how we discover new drugs, and maybe even curing diseases we thought were impossible to cure.
Then we went into the world of education, where AI could totally personalize how students learn, making it more engaging and effective for everyone.
We also talked about how important it is to develop AI responsibly, making sure it's used ethically, fairly, and in a way that benefits everyone.
And we touched on how AI could actually make humans better at what they do, helping us solve tough problems, make amazing discoveries, and create a future that's more sustainable and fulfilling.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is that AI isn't something to be scared of. It's something we should embrace.
Totally agree. It's a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used in good ways or bad ways. It's up to all of us to make sure AI makes the world a better place.
So to everyone listening, I want to leave you with this. Don't be afraid to learn about AI. Explore what it can do, and be part of the conversation about how we shape its future.
The future of AI is in our hands. It's up to us to make sure it's a future that works for everyone.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.